Hi friends, how are you? I hope you are all doing really well considering, and I hope things are treating you well. I hope, and most importantly, I hope you are treating yourself well, that you are respecting yourself, you are being compassionate toward yourself. Yeah, today it's always the same. Like, I want to make a video on some other topic, and then something comes up, and I end up crying uh, thinking about it, and then I realized that this is very important. That's why this is coming up, and so I decided to change the topic and make a video on this subject, which is so ignored and so many people of us are not even aware of it. Um, some of us are, and a lot of us are may not be. It's the concept of inner child, your inner child, which is basically you only. So it's not some scientific term, it's not some mumbo jumbo. I'll explain it to you. Um, so, like I was saying, remembering these things, they make me highly emotional, and I cry before the video. I end up crying in the video, and I end up crying after the video. But I know that this is a process, this is all a cleansing process. It will all, it's a phase, and it will end. So, basically, what our inner who our inner child is, it's us only. It's a part of us who is the explorer, who is the real source of our power, actually, our creativity, who is the explorer, who is curious, who is the adventurer, who believes everything is possible, who is the sunshine and joy, everything a kid should be. That is our inner child. And a lot of us, we don't have the kind of childhood that we experience these kind of that we experience that kind of a safety where that child could bloom, and where the split that doesn't happen, where you become so unaware of your inner child. As in, when you are a kid, you anyways don't know, so there's a split starts happening in your personality. The inner child, it starts becoming another personality, and we go about our lives um, in when we are in difficult situations. So many times we tend people pleasing and denying ourselves. That is basically denying the inner child only when you are growing up. So um, just a second, I'm getting emotional. So, like, every child requires safety. It is their right. Safety, love, encouragement, encouraging them to be themselves, not stifling their voice, not denying their existence in a way. Some and some of us are fortunate enough to get that, and some of us who are not, who have a difficult childhood, and who, like it is said, who never people who never get to be got to be children. They had to grow up quickly. So the part of us that needed all that uh, sense of security and safety and adventure, and you have seen a kid, right? How um, they are when they are not, when we have not taught them to be, when we have not put so much limitations on them, how confident and how exploring and daring they are. They think they can be everything at at the same time they think they can be an astronaut, a doctor, a teacher, or whatever they want at one person, and they think they can be everything. Our inner child is that that part of us. But when the same child is oppressed, just a second, yeah, and you are in a situation where sometimes for survival, um, things are such that you have to deny your childhood, and it's like you need to grow up too soon. So that child gets left behind. It's like leaving a child alone in a dark room, and we forget about them. And that part of us, and that child is us only. That is the real source of our power, where all our creativity and all our happiness lies mostly. And all the emotional woundings that we go through, and a lot of decisions that we take, that part of us. I'm sorry, my brother and his wife, they are fighting against, like, it's so, yeah, the part of us. I'm sorry, just a moment, yeah. These people, they never learn. I was making the thinking of making the video outside, but then we have separated the backyard into portions, but still there is a little gate so that it is easy for my parents to, like, access both the sides of the house. But these people, they just refuse to change their behavior, and they purposefully, they are so cruel, especially his wife. So yeah, I have a point with it. I'm not It's not about bad mouthing her. She knew I was recording, and she was stitching something in the sewing machine, and it can be noisome, right? But she wouldn't consider it, and I have stopped any expectations from them. But yeah, the inner child. So when they these are all related. I'll tell you. So when the child, we have to deny that child. We forget about that child. We grow up being the adult while being a child, while still we are kids. And all the trauma and wounding that we go through, the child is going through that too. And they have never seen the sunshine that they deserved. They've never felt safe enough. So they start shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And with that child, your confidence starts shrinking and shrinking. Because you have seen how confident a kid could be, you know. So that is the source of your confidence. So I I lived in constant state of anxiety and pressure that I completely forgot, and that time I was not even aware of the concept of the inner child, but I had to deny my existence in a way. I was being everything to everybody, emotionally, in a way, emotionally, yeah. And I was not getting a chance. I was not given the time to be the kid. And it was not my parents' fault directly. Like, they are really nice people, like I keep saying. They were also not very aware. A lot of people are not aware. That's why this awareness is so important, because it molds a kid's personality. So many things that molds a kid into an adult. This the inner child, the part of us, that part of us is one of the most important aspects. Yeah, you can hear my nephew. actually. So I was under such constant pressure that, and I was, I became, I started thinking like I had no confidence, like my voice doesn't matter, and I grew up thinking all that, and I would just shrink away. I would just be I would just try to be invisible, you know. So, and there were so many incidents also in my childhood that I was scared and I didn't know how to fight back. So that inner child, that part of me that could have trusted me, she even started getting messages like she is not safe, because I never felt safe. I always felt like I'm alone and I have to defend myself. My father was very protective, but like I said, we do slip. It's like we can't, rarely it's like we can get everything right. So there are things that are not that important, but there are things that are very important, right? So my father was mostly out of the house because of the work, and my mom is very, very sweet. She doesn't know how to handle conflicts and all. So I would not put her into situations when I was, you know, when I was in distress, when people were trying to oppress me. In my own family, it was kind of a joint family. So it was kind of um, difficult, and that part of me, there's this split started happening, which now I understand. Now that time I was a kid, I wouldn't understand that. A lot of us still don't understand that because there is not much awareness about it. It sounds like some scientific mumbo jumbo, but it is not. It is very real. So I grew up thinking it's not safe to be myself. If I try to be myself, I would be more oppressed. I would be punished because people were jealous, and I didn't know what they were jealous about. It's not like I have dropped out of the sky somehow, just shining, sparkling, and I don't know why so much competition, why I attract so much competition from especially people close to me, why they are trying to attack me always. So it's like I forgot that I what being a child is, and I became scared of being myself, and I forgot how who I can be, what I can do. Forget as in not it was wiped from my mind. I mean, generally we just become something we are not. We just become something that people want us to be, and I was under so much pressure, and I was under so much fear all the time. I was very scared, and I did not realize that inner child was so scared, and that's why I was feeling that much of emotional pain and you know fear. And I'm holding this pillow because yeah, I'm emotional. So um and so it started molding our, that how our inner child is, that that molds our personality. Like I already said that. And if you have had a very confident, very safe, very encouraging childhood, you grow up becoming confident individuals. And if you have in a constant state of survival, you grow up becoming fearful, apprehensive. You never realize your own potential. And and you keep then attracting the way you show up in the world. You attract that kind of behavior towards yourself. Just think about it. If somebody you perceive as very strong, um, you know, even physically or mentally, emotionally, not many people will go and dare to mess around with him or her. But if you see someone as very soft, very polite, there is nothing wrong in being soft and polite. We should be soft and polite. But now I've learned that we need to be firm and strong also with it. But if you see someone who is just soft and polite, you anybody would be like, nobody would think about think twice before mistreating them. Maybe a boy or a girl, man, woman, they wouldn't be kind of, they wouldn't give it a second thought. They would be like, what will she do? What will he do? So it's like how you show up in the world, and how you show up in the world is molded by how you have been raised mostly. And a lot of it has to do with your inner child, because the and I was talking about the split. You get you lose that connection with that joy, that curiosity, and slowly it starts uh, eroding your essence, because this child is sitting there waiting for you to acknowledge their existence, trying to feel safe. And again, like I said, the child is your your own self, a part of you that wanted love and attention and care and a healthy place to um, grow, healthy space to grow and be themselves, and they never got it. So that split starts happening, like your mind starts separating that part from who you are. So it becomes a kind of a separate entity. It may sound a little confusing, but it is not. It's you only. But it becomes kind of a different personality, a different entity altogether, which is there waiting for you to acknowledge, and which is taking all the trauma, all your wounds, which is who is trying to be the adult for you when you cannot, when you are not able to defend yourself or something like that. But that is also teaching that child that you are not able to protect them. When you are not able to protect yourself, it's like if you have a kid and when you can't protect yourself, the kid gets the message like, my mother or my father, they can't protect themselves, how are they going to protect me? So the our inner child, it starts becoming more and more scared. That's why it's important to have to be very aware of it. First, that's the first thing I really really wanted to emphasize, that because we are, a lot of us are not aware of this, and so many problems that we face in our behavior, and we end up depressed or anxious. It's coming from that wounding that the child is handling. And children are not meant to carry these burdens. They're meant to be happy and bask in happiness and explore. You know, you have seen adults, like most of the adults are like this. They're happy, they're daring, because they have got that kind of a environment growing up. And some I would say they may not have that kind of an environment, but still they grew up to be really confident individuals. But now when we can spread awareness about it, when we can be aware about it, we can start tending to that inner child. So I was saying that I wasn't so scared most of the times. I was attracting that kind of behavior always, because I was showing up like that in the world. I was showing very vulnerable, and showing vulnerable is nothing wrong with that, but in front of the right people. You shouldn't show your vulnerability to everybody. Just in front of the right people, you should be vulnerable. So it's like I was attracting only that those kind of relationships. I'm not talking about only romantic relationships, mostly all the relationships. And by God's grace, I had and I have few real friends, true friends. So that's a big blessing. And when my brother got married, I attracted a kind of sister-in-law who was even more oppressive. Again, it's not about bad mouthing her. I'll just tell you the point. Because I was already in a depressed state, very depressed state, but I was trying to do whatever I can so that they would feel fine at home. But I had no idea that she had plans of world dominion. I mean, dominating the house. She started oppressing me, and first I would not tell my parents, and because I was like, it's humiliating, right? Because you are the elder one and you can't go run. It's like I couldn't just go running to my parents all the time. This is happening, that is happening. But now I think I should have, in a way, told them from early on what was going on. But then I became so scared of her, and she's younger to me. I became so scared of her. It's like a Cinderella story. I became so scared of her that I even stopped dressing up and all. I would dress in very simple clothes, and I would always keep my hair tied up, because if she saw me even smiling, getting ready for anything, she would bring up hell, and she would do it very covertly. Only I would feel that hell, and it was hurting me so much. Like I said, my doses had to be increased, and I had to kind of be on the highest dose, and my heart would like just flutter like anything. I would be so scared, even to smile in front of her, or even to smile, because we live in the same house, right? So I knew if she saw me smiling, if she saw me being happy, she will bring hell. And I don't know why. I'm not saying I'm like I really don't see why. All I can say is jealousy, and that also I don't see why. Because if you look at our lives, I'm not I'm not, I feel myself blessed. But if you see the facts, I was divorced. I was so depressed and I was so sick. I was dependent on my parents. And I would mostly keep to myself. I would not even go and share my problems with anybody. And I would think, look at your life. I would think that you have a husband who loves you, adores you. You have a kid, a great kid. You have in laws who are like angels. And a sister in law, also like me, who is like an angel. Because I was like very caring, very kind of mothering. Because my father had told me to be like, see, now that your brother is getting married, you are the elder one, your role is changing. You are becoming like a guardian now. So I took it very seriously. That is also one thing, one problem with me. If somebody gives me some responsibility, I take it like it's my life mission, you know. So I was just doing everything that I can. I was not giving her any reason. But then I had become so scared that, forget about lipstick or anything, I would just be as plain, as simple as I could be. But you can't hide your essence. I would I refused to uh, show up sad all the time. So I would be humming or singing, or I would be smiling, though inside I might be uh, full of agony. I would be smiling, making jokes, trying to make my parents laugh, and whoever met me, I would try to make them comfortable. Um, so, but the inner child, they know, they know what actually is going on. They know that I was so scared, and she knew that I was not able to protect myself. I mean, not that I was not able to protect myself. I was not going to protect myself, because that's how I had become. That's how I had been raised. I had been raised just to give, give, and give. That's how or not that my parents raised me exactly like that. We learn a lot of things. We, as kids, also, if things are not explained to us properly, we end up misunderstanding things. And in that generation, a generation above us, not every parent is that aware of the child's emotional needs. Physical needs, people are very emotional. Like, my father is an amazing provider. If I would ask him for something, like, he raised me like a princess. If I would ask for a thing, he would get me too. And my mother is like also very, thank God I didn't ask him for a husband. Yeah, just trying to make myself feel good. Yeah. So, and my mother is also sweet, and she also didn't know how to she couldn't handle conflict. She doesn't know how to handle conflict and all. So the inner child knows everything. The inner child knew that I was very scared. So when these things were happening, when I was being completely tortured and oppressed by her, I was facing it alone, and nobody was believing me. And I was not able to defend myself. Not that I was not able to, I didn't know that I can. The inner child knew, and she even started becoming more distrustful in a way, that she is not protecting herself, and I'm not getting through to her. How is she ever going to protect me? But then, when I started realizing, when it was like, when the awakening kind of moments came, like, that's why I believe in life so much. Even the hardships that I went through, all these hardships, they woke me up. Like, come on, if you live like this, you will not survive for long. What are you doing? Your life matters too. Why are you letting everybody oppress you and just taking it like it's your duty? Come on, you have to learn to fight for yourself. Life taught me that. And in a very, very hard way, because I was not learning uh, the soft by the soft way. So life had to be kind of hard and cruel to me. But then, yeah, when I went through so many hardships, I started kind of waking up to my own self. I started seeing my mistakes, that I was giving these people power to oppress me. I always had the power, not as a kid. As a kid, we don't have that much power against adults, or But now that I have grown up, I have the power to defend myself. I have the power to not take any kind of abuse, or any kind of mistreatment from anybody. I'm allowed to have high standards. I'm allowed to be me. But I didn't even know who I was. I was trying to find myself. And until you find your inner child, you will not find yourself. But slowly I started researching and about psychology and everything, because I really wanted to get cured of this depression. People say that you don't get cured. I believe you can be completely cured, completely. I believe that. So I came across the concept of the inner child, and it's like something your heart always knew, right? So you can resonate quickly. And I was like, oh my god, that's true. That is true. You know, I was like, there is a part of me that never got to experience the things she was entitled to. Entitled to in a way. She was born with that right. When you are born with that right to be loved, to be accepted, to be safe, to be secure, to express yourself, and to just be you and be happy without fear. So then this deep introspection started. There is this, I believe in this Ho'oponopono prayer. You must have heard about it. And if you have not, there is a prayer called Ho'oponopono prayer. So you can find it on YouTube. There are really good videos on YouTube about it. So you can, and about the inner child also scientifically, and there are so many good authors, good content creators who can explain it so much better, you know. Right now I'm just telling you things from my own experience so that it can help, because these are something that I have really gone through, that I have really done. That's why. So you can find, so I got that, I learned about the inner child, and while I found it triggering, I would not continue. I would take some pause, and then, but I got it. And I knew there was some point of me, some part of me that I had completely overlooked. And that was the real part of me. That was the real me, that kid. Because even amongst all this, all I wanted was joy. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to make others happy too. But I also wanted to be happy. I wanted to be me. I wanted to express myself. I wanted to be accepted for just who I am, as I am, you know, like kids do. And that was my inner child. And I could never, I may seem confident right now, but I was like, I could never accept myself earlier. I would not accept I would deny myself. I would shrink. So, and I was giving that message to that sweet little girl inside me, that part of me, that she's not worth it, that she's not worth protecting, because she's me, essentially. The split happens because of this traumas, or when when something horrible happens, our personality in a way gets divided. We disassociate with so many things about our own self. So I then when I became aware of it, I turned to the Ho'oponopono prayer. I learned about it. I practiced it. It was essentially asking for forgiveness from your inner child, and recognizing that they exist and they have been holding the fort for you, that they have been fighting your battles. You are not the only one who has been suffering. But the thing that I would advise is, if you really want to commit to healing your inner child, just doing one Ho'oponopono prayer is not going to help. You know, it will, you will acknowledge your inner child, and then you will leave it, right? It is even worse than not acknowledging them, because it's like resurrecting someone and then forgetting them. So once you commit to healing your inner child, then you need to be consistent. You need to show up for them. You need to start changing your behavior. You need to show up strong so that that part starts healing and trusting you, so that it can, so that that part can feel what it's like to be a child, because you give them that space. And for that, acknowledging it is very important. And secondly, it is so important to have a dialogue with yourself, because just think about, it's like some lost somebody you love, who you have lost touch with for years, and you lost them suddenly, and you meet them, um, especially when they are a kid and they have not grown up and they are in a trauma in a way. How would you behave with them? So you need to give them a safe space, and it, you would do it by talking to them, by gaining their confidence. And it just doesn't happen like that, because the kid learned by your behavior, that inner child, it learned by your behavior that she's not safe, because you're not feeling safe, because not you're not speaking up for yourself. So first you have to show up for yourself. You have to like teach kids by example. In a way, we teach kids by example. You have to show your inner child that you care and you are there for them, so that they can, like, really feel safe, and they can bloom, they can experience the childhood they wanted. It may all sound very strange, but it is not. It is a very essential part of our personality. Most of the depression and anxiety problems and disassociation problems that we experience, it comes from, it's coming from this place of our wounded inner child. And there are so many things also, but this is one of the most important things. So I started, I committed to healing my inner child. I committed to finding myself. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to first it was like a matter of, where the matter of a child comes, I'm like, anyways, I become very kind of, oh, I have to do this. But and it was my inner child, so it's me only. I was like, I was committed to healing her. I was committed to making her feel safe, which means making me feel safe. So I wanted to, how I went about doing it. um just a moment, this video is getting long, so I'm making another video. Yeah.